I'm standing in an environment surrounded by trees, shrubs, and grass, which is normally a breeding area for mosquitoes. Oh, that's what some people do when they feel there is a mosquito around them. It has to be terminated as quickly as possible. Jaana Island in Kalangala district and Kansambwe Island in Kome Mukono districts are currently the project areas for targeting malaria funded by Bill Gates Foundation to try out mosquitoes with gene drive technology aimed at curbing malaria in Kalangala and other places of Uganda. This project is currently being done in 3 countries in Africa. That is Uganda, Burkina Faso, and Mali. It started in 2016, and the release of these unnatural mosquitoes was expected in 10 years from the inception of this program, meaning we are just a few years away from the release of these mosquitoes with the gene drive technology. I would like to acknowledge that malaria has been a problem to our people for quite some time. And when you ask a local person if mosquitoes should be killed, the majority will just ask you, when are they being killed? But let's look at this mosquito, whether it's totally useless and it deserves to be eliminated. Studies indicate that mosquitoes lay millions of eggs, but majority of these eggs don't go beyond the larva stage because they are eaten by fish, aquatic animals, and birds. Important to note is that birds migrate as far as Europe and Asia during winter and come and stay in our countries, whose main food is mosquitoes and mosquito larvae. It means that mosquitoes are not only food for aquatic animals, fish, and birds, but they also help to keep tourists coming into our countries to see these birds, and therefore they bring in the much needed foreign exchange for the development of our country. But apart from animals, fish, and birds that feed on mosquito larvae, a professor who is a friend of mine, whom I will not mention because he did not give me permission to use his name here, told me that Lake Victoria and other lakes surrounding it are called freshwater lakes just because of the environment that surround them. He pointed out the mosquitoes, and he said that mosquitoes play the biggest role of making our lakes fresh. He says that eliminating mosquitoes means eliminating the freshness of our lakes and water bodies. And remember, Lake Victoria is the second biggest freshwater lake in the world. And in Uganda, we have multitudes of water bodies which are not only very important to our lives, but also to our economy. Looking at the birds, the fish, the aquatic animals, and the way the lake will be affected, this therefore tells you how our tourism industry will be affected in the future when mosquitoes have totally been eliminated. But away from mosquitoes being food to plants, animals, and fish, these mosquitoes are very important in pollinating our plants. This means that when you eliminate mosquitoes, you are touching the very fabric of our own existence. That is the plants and the food that we have been enjoying since this world was created. The world is still too big for us to start deciding that there are certain things that are not important in our lives. Certain things will take us years to understand their importance. And these include some of the plants. For us here we have Ssese, which is blackjack, and we have Makai. Makai is one of the most important medicine against malaria. But now, instead of developing that medicine to curb malaria, we are targeting mosquitoes instead. Therefore, a target against that minute mosquito is a target against our unique flora and fauna, and therefore a target against our own existence as a people. By nature, mosquitoes don't have malaria. They only transmit it. And if they don't catch malaria, it doesn't affect them at all, and neither does it make them any dangerous to us or our environment. For a mosquito to transmit malaria, there must be two factors: a person who's having malaria and another person for a mosquito to deliver malaria to. Therefore, minus a person who is having malaria, mosquitoes will not transmit any malaria, even if they bite millions of people. Why don't we develop a mechanism of quick identification of those with malaria as early as possible? Of recent, we have testing strips for people who suspect to be pregnant. We have self-testing strips for COVID and even for HIV. Why don't we develop the same for those who are suspecting to be having malaria, so that we can deny mosquitoes access to any person who is having malaria? But also, if we cannot do that, why don't we emphasize methods of keeping people away from mosquitoes that carry malaria? We have nets. That is very important, and we have been practicing them. We have mosquito repellent substances. Actually, they are called insect repellent substances that we can smear our bodies with during a time when mosquitoes are very active. But there are also plants we can plant around our homes that repel mosquitoes. Actually, they repel insects. Those are some of the methods that we can still look at as alternative to killing and eliminating all the mosquitoes. Africa is not sort of solutions. Actually, Africa is full of solutions. But some people believe we don't have any solutions, and that they have got to bring us everything and we've got just to take. Some people even say that if you want to deny an African information, keep it in a book. But we also say that if you want to deny those who went to school information, don't write it down. But we can still go with their science, that when you expose a person to a certain disease, that person develops what is called herd immunity. Some of us who grew up in areas infested with mosquitoes, who were exposed to mosquito bites as during our childhood, when we are bitten by mosquitoes that bring malaria, are never affected in the same way a person who has never been exposed to malaria is affected. This is an area that we need to focus our studies and then come up with the best conclusion of how to fight malaria. I therefore assert that killing mosquito is akin to emptying a water bottle just because people drown in it. It's akin to destroying a car just because it causes accidents and people die. It's akin to destroying a gun that has no bullets in it. What we have to do is to learn how to live with the water bodies, even if when people drown in them, they die. To learn how to drive the cars safely, not to destroy them because they cause accidents. How to use guns appropriately without causing unnecessary killing. In the same way, we have to understand how to live with the mosquitoes in harmony, because mosquitoes are very important to us more than they are dangerous to our beings. In my next episode, I will tell you why the killing of mosquitoes are being prepared. It's not about mosquitoes. It's about you. It's about me. It's about our next generation. It's about everybody.